In 2017, we visited the Dalmatian coast of Croatia, a historic and beautiful area. We flew into Dubrovnik airport and my lady heroically drove past Dubrovnik to Split and all the way back. The Highway 8 scenery is beautiful, but at places it is fairly narrow, very winding and frequently features huge drop-offs with less than ideal safety barriers. The scenic south of Dalmatia receives more rain than the north, but the hills are still bare. The road, high on a hillside, passes the ancient town of Dubrovnik. A new bridge bypasses a long flooded valley, shortening the road to Split by about 15 kilometers. The road used to follow the banks of the Raya. There are so many picturesque waterfront towns. The boat is called emotion. For many, that emotion might be jealousy. A typical stretch of the winding Highway 8. We stopped for a late lunch at Slano, a popular haven for yachts, but strangely quiet at this time of year. Neum, where the country of Bosnia meets the sea. Komen on the Neretva River. We gradually lost light, but continued driving towards Split. We had no accommodation booked, thinking in October it wouldn't be a problem, but in the late evening, wandering the streets of an unknown city with no cell phone coverage, it proved a bit of a challenge. Eventually we returned back towards the highway and by chance found a nice apartment. In the morning we met this great view from our veranda. By day we weren't sure if our accommodation was unfinished or something else. We parked the car and followed the crowds towards Old Split and its palace. Minutes later we were in the vaults of the Roman Emperor Diocletian's 4th century palace. An artist's impression of what the palace would have been like at its peak. The Romans were amazing builders. Midsummer the crowds might have spoiled the whole experience. The palace vaults currently house souvenir shops. Leaving the vaults, you meet structures that appear to be Roman, plus the typical churches often found within them. Streets where the Roman legions once marched now echo to the sounds of commerce. Within the palace ruins, the old and new stand side by side. Where the sea once lapped against the palace walls, a plaza, restaurants and tourist shops. A cruise or a submarine? How adventurous are you feeling? The harbour and mountains, what a setting. These stairs, plus a whole lot more, will take you to Marjan Hill Park with great views of the city. The Church of St. Nicholas, one of several within the park. Leaving the park and these amazing views, we passed through the town, returned to our hire car and started the long drive back to Dubrovnik. On the outskirts of the city, going back towards Dubrovnik, we see shocking new developments. The highway starts off modern and wide, plus we see the rare sight of flying cars. Driving back in daylight, we saw things the night had hidden. Just imagine living below these mountains. Driving eye level with boats was a bit unnerving. They are just so huge. A beautiful spot to retire to. Look for this dive boat on the next picture. From a roadside lookout, to see the size of the cliffs, see the dive boat. We stopped here at the scenic town of Makarska for lunch. A young couple captured forever in bronze. The correspondent forever makes his note. Street-side restaurants wait to serve you. A church with a fine bell tower and nearby an old watchtower. On returning, the first sight of Dubrovnik, one of the city's harbours. Once again we were lucky. As light faded, we met a man in the street who had an attractive apartment to rent next to the old city. This is part of the city's ancient walls. We left our apartment and quickly found the tourist-filled old city. One of the many churches, the Cathedral of the Assumption. The old harbour by night, complete with a ghostly replica galleon. The city's outer walls can be walked. If you don't mind heights, pay your euros and walk the walls. Dubrovnik's main street. This is shoulder season. Just imagine the summer crowd. The main streets are linked with steps and alleyways. Photos not enough? Take the city home in acrylic. From the harbour area, this arch takes you back to the street. Looking out to sea from the harbour area, the inner harbour would have been protected by the city's cannons. I hope you liked the Croatian Dalmatian coast and its towns and cities. Sorry about the shortage of videos, I normally have much more. If you like this kind of presentation, there are lots more on my YouTube site. Please like, subscribe and click the bell icon if you would like to be informed of future offerings. I do this as a hobby, so there are no adverts or requests for funding. Bob Jackson and Lilia.